Welcome back to the Slide Job Podcast. I'm your host, Colton Smith, or Left Turn Central, here joined by co-host Ben Miller. We are just doing a two-man show today. Missed the Monday episode or Tuesday episode for Labor Day, but we're back, and some pretty big news came out today, actually. Stuart HAAS, or not Stuart HAAS, it's hard to not say that, but a HAAS factory team will be technically going back to, or just becoming a Chevy team and partnering up with Hendrick Motorsports. Now, we'll talk about getting to that a little bit later, but we also want to talk about the playoff situation and what's transpired at Darlington a little bit. We won't go through the race recap because you already know what happened at this point, but we'll talk about the playoff situation going into this weekend's race and some drivers looking good and some drivers looking not so good, and everything in between. But before we get into it, of course, power rankings and overreactions in there as well. But before we get into that, Ben, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Just still learning at my new job and all that. So just pretty much just been putting in that grind and trying to get better every single day. What about yourself, man?
Well, that's all you can do. It's still unemployment over here for the old Left Turn Central. You would think that would mean more content, but it's just been getting back in the flow of things back home and learning some new stuff for sure, and been working on a little something. I guess I can tease it a little. What if in the works? We are a long ways from complete from that. I think we got about 10 more years to script, and then on top of that, got to record and do all the editing. So, but there is a what if in the works, if you all were wondering, because it's been so long since the last one. So be sure to keep an eye out for any developments on that. But yeah, other than that, just been hanging out and getting closer to getting some form of employment so the bank account starts not crying every time I go out somewhere. So anyways, let's go ahead and get into some NASCAR here. First and foremost, let's just get to the breaking news. HAAS factory team announced this morning, I believe, that they will align with Chevrolet beginning in 2026. They thanked Ford for its partnership and support with the HAAS factory team, although it was really just 1 year, but over the year. And they're remaining dedicated to delivering results, all of that fun stuff. But HAAS said he has a deep history with Chevrolet and Hendrick Motorsports. Both helped him in establishing both helped me in establishing not only my presence as a team owner in NASCAR, but also the presence of HAAS Automation. Together, we were able to build a race team that competed for wins and championships while growing the use of HAAS CNC machinery throughout. Blah blah blah. What I find interesting is he doesn't mention Tony Stewart, because HAAS was around long before they are with Hendrick. I don't know if they were exactly with Hendrick Motorsports during that time, but HAAS was definitely around for a long time before Tony Stewart finally came around. And I would give more credit to Tony Stewart as to why the team won races and championships, not necessarily Hendrick Motorsports, although Hendrick surely deserves some credit for that. But possibly a little idea that maybe things didn't end so well between Stewart and HAAS. There's been rumors. I don't know if anything concrete has come out, but what are your thoughts on all of this? You don't necessarily have to go into the drama that could be behind it, but what do you think about HAAS moving to Chevrolet with the Hendrick partnership?
Yeah, I think this is going to be beneficial for HAAS factory team and going into the 2026 season. I mean, obviously with Ford, though, it just hasn't been working out, though. I mean, when you look at Cole Custer this season, I mean, despite coming close to winning at Daytona, I mean, it's just been a rough year for him. And but I feel like with this manufacturer change, though, I mean, like HAAS had success with Chevy and Hendrick Motorsports, like you mentioned, Colton. I mean, won a championship in 2011 with Tony Stewart, won a championship in 2014 with Kevin Harvick. So, yeah, I feel like this is going to be beneficial for HAAS factory team to see if they can try to put some better results together in 26 compared to the rough year they've had in 2025. But do I see Cole Custer going to victory lane and competing for wins week in and week out? Probably not, no, but I
You sure thought at Daytona.
yeah, I was about to say, like, I feel like at super speedways, though, I mean, we saw it this year. We saw it in the Daytona 500 where he was flirting with the wind down the backstretch, but he got taken out. But and like you said, at Daytona, he came really close. Or well, I um I was almost right about him, but yeah, yeah, I can't believe I was that close to being right. But anyway, I'm getting off topic. But yeah, we've seen flashes of Cole Custer this year on the super speedways, coming close to winning at Daytona. But yeah, I feel like this is going to be really beneficial for Haas Factor team and Cole Custer for sure. And it'll be interesting to see how they'll do in their first season with Chevy.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I think this would be more interesting if they had a driver other than Cole Custer behind the wheel. I think it's been
Mhm.
pretty proven that he's not really a program builder or anything of the sort. So I guess at some point, if you just keep making him race in circles, he'll get better and maybe he can develop into something decent. But it'd be a lot more exciting if it came with the announcement of, I don't know, a Daniel Suarez swooping in to take the ride. And I mean, I know that wasn't going to happen. I knew that wasn't going to happen. I'm not trying to act like that's the case, but that was a possibility. But I do think something like that would just make this whole thing a lot more interesting. But yeah, they could see some improvement, but I don't see them really sticking out, especially with Cole Custer behind the wheel from anywhere in the series. Chenry already is theorizing that in 2027, Carson Hocevar will take over the 48, and Alex Bowman will move to the second Haas automation car or Haas factory team car. We'll see about that. But what I think this puts a really interesting just a kind of spin on Ford. Are they
Mhm.
going to be here in the next decade? Like, how much longer will they be here? Because you look at their Xfinity program, they have two programs, AM Racing, and I can't even name the second one off the top of my head.
Yeah, I know it's
You
AM
got it.
Racing, and it
Is it
just slipped my
DGR
mind.
Crosley? Are they there? No, I think that's truck only. And they
Yeah,
might not even be Ford still.
yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I can't think of the second one off the top of my
Is
head. I
Sieg
knew.
is Sieg still Ford?
No, I think he's Chevy.
Chevy.
Yeah, he's Chevy.
I can fact check that, but I mean, regardless, the other team is not that relevant. And when was the last time? I mean, Haas really has, I guess, the two young drivers in the Ford system right now. In I guess front row has Lane Riggs as well. But
Yeah,
you want to bring Lane Riggs up to drive for AM Racing, and that's going to be a valid test of his abilities at the next level. Like Chevy has Junior Motorsports, Colleague that haven't been as good this year, but Colleague in the past has been a really good place to go. Joe Gibbs at Toyota really is really just Joe Gibbs, but still, what's going on with Ford? Because they have just stopped prioritizing the lower ranks. We remember the days of when Penske had a full-time team. Roush had a full-time team. You look in the truck series, BK or Pat Keselowski Racing existed.
mhm.
Like, why are we just letting this go to waste? And it makes me wonder, is Ford not looking at the long-term future in the sport? There's no reports around that, but really they're just kind of relying on getting some experienced guys, and those guys they have now sticking around for the next 5 to 10 years. They're losing Sam Mayer, they're losing Sheldon Creed in this whole deal.
Yep.
So at the end of the day, do I say it's impossible for them to end up at Ford down the road? No, but regardless, it's just interesting that they're not prioritizing Xfinity or trucks, and they just don't even see the value in that anymore. But I've speculated enough. What do you think about that side of things?
Yeah, I mean it's definitely odd in a way to see Ford go down that rut, but I mean we just got to see what the future holds for sure. But yeah, it'll definitely be interesting for sure.
Sieg is still Ford.
Oh, yes. Okay.
There are four full-time Fords. The 41 of Sam Mayer, the 00 Sheldon Creed, the 25 of Harrison Burton, and the 39 of Ryan Sieg. There's a couple part-time entries for AM and I think Sieg, but regardless, Sam Mayer is going to go to Chevy. Well, who knows? Maybe Ford ends up trying to keep him. I don't know, but at the end of the day, you got 4 cars in Xfinity. If you go to the Truck Series, you have Lane Riggs in the 34. You got Thor Sport. You got a couple competitive cars there, sure. But outside of Lane Riggs, is there really anybody? Chandler Smith maybe is now amongst your ranks. Is there anybody that you really see of the long-term Cup potential? And maybe they just expect Ryan Preece, Chris Buescher, Ryan Blaney, Joey Logano, Austin Cindric to be their kind of flagship drivers for a long term. Zane Smith is a guy who could end up being that. So I'm not necessarily, they got guys who probably will be there for the next 5 to 10 years. So they're not starving for it, but I don't know. It could just be a kind of sign of just how less talented the lower ranks are than they were 5 years ago too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, it'll be interesting, but I think as of right now, everybody's in the Cup Series. They're staying where they are.
Yeah. We'll just have to wait and see how that all plays out. Speaking of the Cup Series, though, let's take a look at these playoff standings because we haven't gotten a chance to talk about them after Darlington. We all know Chase Briscoe got the win at Darlington last Sunday on Labor Day night. Denny Hamlin had a nice day, though. He's 43 points above the cut line in second. Kyle Larson in third place, 38 points above the cut line, despite kind of having an day. Good stage points for him, though. Tyler Reddick, I had him not making it in the next round. I think he'll be fine in fourth place with 35 points above the cut line. His teammate, Bubba Wallace, is fifth place in the points, 25 points above the cut line, tied with William Byron, sixth place, just 25, or like I said, 25 above the cut line. Ryan Blaney didn't have the best day, but he's got some good playoff points to keep him 22 points above the cut line. Ross Chastain is 21 above that. Austin Cindric, now we're getting into some danger. I mean, Blaney and Chastain are absolutely, if they don't have a good race, could end up in danger, but these drivers are going to be fighting for their lives for the next 2 races for sure. That is Austin Cindric, 12 points above the cut line. Christopher Bell, 11 points. Chase Elliott, 9 points. Shane Van Gisbergen, 3 points above the cut line. He used his mulligan. He now has to actually compete at an oval for the next 2 races. And then below the cut line, you have Joey Logano, just 3 points back. Austin Dillon, 8 points back. And then Alex Bowman, Josh Berry, just disgusting days, minus 19 in 15th and 16th place. Shout out Alex Bowman for breaking his shoot. God, why is the air gun? Yeah, that's all Alex Bowman's fault. Broke the air gun and then made sure that there was not a second one ready. Shout out Alex Bowman once again, just a terrible driver. I don't understand how he has the ride at the 48. He's probably going to miss it because of that. So, but what do you look at this playoff picture? What are some things that stand out to you, and who are you most worried about?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at like out of all these drivers right here, I'm looking at the 45 of Tyler Reddick. I mean, one of my big winners coming out of the Southern 500 on Sunday night. Despite he came close to that win though, finishing in second to Chase Briscoe. But when you go back to lap 1, literally the start of the race, and when he made contact, or Josh Berry made contact with him though, he was sideways. I mean, it looked like he was wrecked, but apparently, he was able to save it though, and I mean what could have been for Tyler Reddick? I mean, if he got caught up in that wreck though, I mean, he was going to be below the cut line as we head into Gateway, but they managed to be competitive throughout the night. They had a super fast car, and but yeah, that was a huge win for Tyler Reddick. And going into that race, he was -1 below the cut line though, and he came out plus 35. So yeah, I feel like that was huge for Tyler Reddick. And who I'm concerned about, I mean, I got to be concerned for SVG. I mean, obviously a rough race in Darlington, didn't get the result, didn't have the speed in the car. I thought Darlington would be a oval where he was going to show some speed. I mean, he even mentioned it on Kevin Harvick's Happy Hour that he enjoys going to Darlington. That's his favorite oval on the circuit. But I feel like with that result, in Darlington, yeah, I'm really concerned for him going into Gateway because that's a track where he's never competed against and or never competed at, and Bristol. I just don't really see him doing much there though. So as of right now, yeah, I'm definitely concerned for Shane Van Gisbergen.
Yeah, shout out to Tyler Reddick and proving me wrong. And he almost proved me right on the first lap, not to his own fault, but almost ended up in a wreck that would have put him in really bad hair. But now he's very, very comfortably looking to make the next round. But I gotta circle back to Bowman. This really reminds me of the Dale Jr. The years that he had some really competitive speed. 2014 is one that really comes to mind. But for whatever reason, Hendrick Motorsports failed him time and time again. Is it Rick Hendrick pressing the button up in the booth? Is it Jeff Gordon pressing it because he wants Hocevar in the 48? I don't know, but it seems to be a really consistent theme here is that the fourth driver at Hendrick just, no matter how good they are, just will not amount to anything to the level of the other three drivers at Hendrick, and it just, for whatever reason, they get the shit end of the stick. And I get why, because Bowman is probably the least talented, but he's still an incredibly talented driver that deserves a chance to compete for a championship. And really, if I'm Bowman, I wish there was another spot I could go and maybe get a little more attention. But regardless, let's take a look at who was I want to talk about? Hendrick as a whole, though, because to be fair, Hendrick did take an absolute stinker this race. Chase Elliott was the best finishing driver in 17th, and really not many points of the race did a Hendrick driver stand out as incredibly fast. Byron dominated this race in the spring. He did not have a really good race. Larson has dominated this race in the past. He had some issues outside of his control, and not really anybody's control. That got him mired back in traffic, but he did end up getting some stage points throughout the day. So, just an ugly performance from Hendrick. They're going to Gateway, which has been historically a terrible track for them anyways. So could we see Chase Elliott fall below the cut line, and then we have two Hendrick drivers out in the first round? It just kind of feels, I don't know. They've had moments throughout the year where they've shown speed, the 9 and the 48, but it just feels right. They've been not blistering fast really in more than one or two races this year. So yeah.
It's I mean, they've just been inconsistent, 48 and the 9. But I mean, like you said, Colton, just overall a really rough race in the Southern 500 for Hendrick Motorsports. And Chenry told me at the Reds game this week that that was their worst performance as a whole since 2009.
Yes, Chenry did have that great stat. I forgot about that.
Yeah, like when he told me that, I was just like, what? Like, I mean, we're just not used to seeing Hendrick Motorsports in that rut. But I mean, it's definitely shocking to see William Byron perform the way he did, though. I mean, the car was not there. I mean, you mentioned it, though, when he had a dominant car back in the spring race. He led a race high 243 laps and wasn't able to get the win. But I thought that they were going to be competitive, and they were going to be one of the cars to beat. I mean, came in as the favorite, obviously, but I mean, there was just absolutely no speed. And when just looking at looking ahead to Gateway, I mean, like you said, it's been historically bad for. It's not been the best track for Hendrick Motorsports, and who knows, maybe Chase Elliott may be falling below the cut line with his Hendrick teammate Alex Bowman. But it's they just got to try to figure it out and hit the reset button and try to go from there. But overall, though, coming out of the weekend, is it time to panic? No, because it's only one race. They're eventually going to get their things back together, and they're going to be championship contenders, I think.
Yeah, yeah. So now that I got my pity party for the 9 and 48 teams out of the way, let's talk about Toyota, who was blistering fast this last race. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the top 10. Six of the top 7 were all Toyotas. Chase Briscoe led the way, like we said, and Tyler Reddick right up there. Eric Jones, John Arnichuk having season, peak of the season type days. Started in the back. Nemechek 30th, Jones 19th, but worked their way up. And Jones, we know, is very skilled at this track. That's no secret. And John Hunter Nemechek also is a guy that I would have drafted if we were still doing the Fast Five because of his history at this track. Bubba Wallace and Denny Hamlin were the other 2 Toyotas there. But I also want to give a shout out to the top Chevy of the day, AJ Allmendinger, because when this guy races well, it just makes me feel great. And there were some stats I had prepared if we did do an episode on Monday for the Dinger, if I can come up here and find it. It's just another impressive mile-and-a-half showing. He did not have a single top 10 at the Lady in Black before Sunday night. In fact, he had a 24th place average finish at Darlington before his 5th place finish result. That was his second worst average finish at a track across his career. The only one worse than that, if I could speak English, was Iowa, which he's only raced at twice. So by all means, this was his worst track on the schedule. But you look at this season, both of his top 5s have come at mile-and-a-half tracks, and 4 of his 6 top 10s on the year have come at mile-and-a-halfs. Only one from a road course, one top 10 from a road course all season long. So it's good. He was not the cookie cutter master for a lot, but he is definitely showing through. Obviously, Colleague has announced their alignment with Dodge, so I question how many more of these performances we will get from Allmendinger over the next 2 or 3 years before Dodge jumps to Cup, if they do. So, but regardless, always love seeing the Dinger thriving, and he's been doing that this year. It's been a nice season that makes me again question why he was part-time the year before.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's definitely nice to see AJ Allmendinger going to the track, showing that speed. But I mean, just looking at these results here, though. I mean, I'm starting off with our race winner, Chase Briscoe. I mean, they continue to bring these fast cars to the track. I mean, they qualify well. I mean, since his win at Pocono, though, I mean, he's had a good summer stretch leading into the playoffs, and I feel like I got faith that he's going to make it to Phoenix. Though, I mean, he showed up. He showed up and was ready to dominate, and he did that, leading over 300 laps. And interesting stat here: he was the first driver to win back-to-back Southern 500s since Greg Biffle in 2005 and 2006.
Wow.
And yeah, it's definitely been a while since we saw that. And the first driver to lead over 300 laps in the Southern 500 since Bobby Allison in 1971.
Huh. How about that?
Yeah. But yeah, overall though, like if I'm the field though, I'm afraid to Chase Briscoe because he is a championship. He's obviously a championship threat. He's the best Joe Gibbs Racing driver right now, and now that I'm thinking about it, though, he like just seeing Briscoe dominate in the summertime, leading up to this point. It kind of reminds me of Kevin Harvick's 2014 season with Stuart Haas.
That was his first season with Stuart Haas. How about that?
Yep, won the championship, and yeah, overall though, those guys they're dangerous right now, and I know I didn't have them in the championship for, but right now he's the championship favorite in my opinion.
That's the future face of Joe Gibbs Racing right there, Chase Briscoe, and each day he makes that look more and more possible. One thing I will comment before we move on is that this is the first race non-super speedway that the 19 team has come back with Chase Briscoe. It does also happen to be probably Chase Briscoe's best track, but Phoenix is another track he has a win at, another track that he is good at, and another track that they will be going to for the second time. So if he gets there, watch out, field. Watch out.
Yeah. I mean, but yeah, first career win. That's where where he got his first career win in 2022. So yeah, he definitely knows how to get around the desert.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Well, let's go ahead and move along to the overreactions. I'll go ahead and give mine if I can scroll down here. I will say that Chevy, because I don't think Chevy or Hendrick will not have a representative in the Final Four. Now, this is an overreaction. This is probably not true, but
Mhm.
based on the speed they came to at the first week of the playoffs, I don't see how they could. The beauty of it is we go to many different tracks where there are many different cars and many different ways this can play out. But if they bring even a semblance of the speed they had at Darlington, they're in trouble. And I don't see how they make a Final Four, but that's
Yeah.
why we race the races.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Now that I'm thinking about it, that's probably my overreaction too. I mean, you said it best. I mean, the speed that they showed up with in Darlington, Hendrick Motorsports. I mean, could that be a sign of concern? Maybe. I don't know. But yeah, I would. Yeah, that's my overreaction for sure.
I feel like starting your playoff with your worst performance since was it 2008, Henry said?
2009.
2009. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Starting it out with the worst performance your team has had in over a decade and a half. Shoot, it's getting close to being 2 decades at this point, but
Yep.
not yet. Still, just starting the playoffs off with that is just a really odd omen that maybe just won't mean anything because it's the playoffs and they can just start anew the next round, but they'll start anew with at least one less driver, if you ask me,
Mhm.
and potentially two. Hopefully not, but potentially two. Anyways, so we both have the same overreaction there. Let's go ahead and move along to our power rankings, and I've made it pretty simple. At number 5, I have Legacy Motor Club. You can pick which Legacy Motor Club driver you want to put. If I had to pick one, probably Eric Jones. Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
Probably Eric Jones for me, just because he had a top 10 at Daytona the week prior and finished in third and had a realistic chance if he could have maneuvered past Tyler Reddick to maybe compete for the win. Regardless, this team has looked really well over the
Mhm.
summer. There's definitely been improvement, which is something that we haven't really been able to say throughout Legacy Motor Club's existence. So seeing that improvement is definitely nice to see, because I don't think there's ever been a question about the drivers. For me, at least, I've never really questioned. John Herminchek had DNF problems. Sure, he has cleaned that up this year. Just one DNF on the season.
Mhm.
Eric Jones, maybe has never been a flashy prospect, but he's always been a consistent guy that keeps the equipment clean for the most part. There was one year he did not, but for the most part, he tends to keep that equipment clean and get the most out of his car from time to time. Like turn a top 20 day maybe into a top 15, or even a 15 into a 10 day from time to time. And so, all in all, I don't think the question's ever been about the drivers. It's been about the team. And it seems like they found something this summer that seems to make them be able to let them show their talents a little better. And this was all came together for an outstanding start to the playoffs, even though neither one of them are in it at Darlington. What I
Mhm.
will say is I don't like the idea of adding a third team personally, because I could see that hurting what they're building here with these two drivers. We have seen it with Trackhouse. We have seen it with Colleague, where they kind of expanded too fast, and that just hurts the consistency from week to week. Ross Chastain has been an absolute no factor since his win at Charlotte, and I do credit that to having 3 drivers personally. Ben has disappeared, so it's just me, probably because I spent 2.5 minutes talking about Legacy Motor Club. But this is what happens when we do everything in one episode. Everything just gets compartmentalized, so we're getting it all out. At number 4, you're back in here, Ben. Bubba Wallace is at my number 4. I think this is a new playoff. The playoffs is essentially a new season to me. So I have no real bias to the regular season, my last power rankings, because we started new here. And Bubba Wallace started the playoffs really fresh. I think this is a testament to Toyota as well, because guess what? All 5 of my power rankings drivers are Toyota. They just came out the bat swinging.
Mhm.
Adversely to Chevy and Hendrick, who had their worst performance again since 2009. Toyota had an outstanding performance at Darlington. Probably could have had more in the top 10 there. But yeah, Bubba, great job. Way to get a pretty good chance at making the round of 12 after race 1. We'll see how Gateway and Bristol go. Denny
Mhm.
Hamlin at number 3 for me. He finished below Bubba and the Legacy Motor Club guys, but he is second in the point standings right now. So he's somebody who had the good regular season success and has carried that over into a good start to the playoffs here at Darlington. So I got him at number 3. Tyler Reddick could have easily been at the bottom of the power rankings had he not been able to turn it around, but he turned it around. Very impressive race. It just fell short to a faster car and a driver who knows that track just a little bit better. And that's Chase Briscoe, who is number 1 on my power rankings.
I like it. All right. So starting off at number 5 for me, I got the 5 of Kyle Larson. He was able to score some stage points throughout the night, but finished 19th. Another quiet race from Larson, despite getting some stage points, like I mentioned. Thought this would be a race for him to contend for the win. I mean, you know how good he is at Darlington, but lost a lot of position. Lost a lot of track position there late due to some damage. But yeah, I got the 5 of Kyle Larson at number 5. Coming in at number 4, I got the 24 of William Byron. Finished 21st at Darlington. Showed he had top 10 speed early. Did not have that good of a car though. Not the speed that we saw in April, where he led 243 laps at the track Too Tough to Tame. Lost track position on pit road. Was in the back of the field as pit road was hectic for a lot of playoff teams, but overall not a good night for driver number 24. And number 3, I got Bubba Wallace, finishing 6th in the Southern 500. Has showed great speed throughout the race. 5th top 10 in the last 7 races for Bubba. Continues to bring these fast cars to the track, and I would watch out for Bubba in the next few weeks, though. I mean, he can make a deep run in the playoffs, and if he can continue the momentum, I can definitely see some good things coming from that number 23. He's definitely going to be fun to watch in the next nine weeks. And coming in at number 2, I got the 12 of Ryan Blaney, finishing 18th in Darlington. Was not able to continue the momentum we saw the last few weeks. Got spun by Austin Dillon down the front stretch. Did not get any stage points, and you know how Team Penske performs at Gateway. I mean, it's been a really good track for him. Came close to getting the win last year, but ultimately ran out of fuel, and his teammate Austin Cindric went on to get the win. But yeah, I feel like we're gonna see big things from the 12th car this weekend in St. Louis. So it's definitely going to be fun to watch, and got to keep an eye on those Penske boys when it comes to St. Louis. And topping off my power rankings this week, I got the 19 of Chase Briscoe. I mean, won the Southern 500 for the second year in a row, led a race high 309 laps, getting his second win of the year, and continues to be the hottest driver in the field. You know, he's going to be fun to watch in the next few weeks. So, I mean, they have the speed, they have the momentum, they can make a championship run. I feel like this is going to continue, and but overall though, they are too good right now. And yeah, I got Briscoe as my number 1, and that tops off my power rankings.
Yeah, and you mentioned St. Louis is a really good Penske track. Joey Logano has the best average finish of 3.0. Kurt Busch has the second best, if you're wondering, with the third place finish there in his one race. But Cindric is right there in third with 8.3, and then Blaney's a little lower in sixth best with 11th. I mentioned this is not a good track for Hendrick. Larson does have a 8.7 or a 9th place average finish. Then you go down the list. Byron with a 14th place average finish. Chase Elliott with a 17th place average finish. And if I scroll all the way down here, Bowman has a 22nd place average finish. So not looking good for Bowman, not looking the best for Hendrick, but looking really good for Joey Logano, who is actually my pick to win it this week. I was kind of thinking about it. I know I was thinking Ford. I was thinking, Ford's really good at these short tracks and especially Gateway. And it's just kind of been one of those weeks for me where I had a really great time on Labor Day and the Reds game on Tuesday. But like since then, it's just kind of been a week. And it's one of the football's back. Thank God. Thank God for that. But it's been, other than football being back, it's kind of been one of those weeks for me. And it just feels like to rein it in, we'll get a Bengals loss against the Browns at
No.
Cleveland to start. It's what we do. We're 1-12. Why wouldn't I think so? And then we're going to cap that off with a Joey Logano win at WWT. That just feels like the week for me, and that's what I'm going with. Am I trying to reverse jinx it? No, sports gods. I am not. This is what I truly think is going to happen. No reverse jinx going on here. Ben, who you got?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's going to be a really fun race to watch in Gateway, but yeah, I definitely expect those Fords to be competitive, and especially Team Penske. Though, I mean, I expect Cindric, Logano, and Blaney to be really competitive, but I am leaning towards Team Penske here. Not Joey Logano, but I'm going to take his teammate Ryan Blaney to win a Gateway this weekend. I feel like this is a really good track for Blaney. I mean, he should have won it last year, like I mentioned, before running out of fuel and losing to his Penske teammate Austin Cindric. But yeah, I feel like the 12 car, they're going to be really fast, and I think they're going to have the car to beat this weekend in St. Louis. So I got the 12 of Ryan Blaney.
Fun fact, Kyle Busch has led the most laps here in the Cup Series of anybody else. So a little food for thought. A guy not much talked about these days other than will he ever get another win?
Yeah, I mean,
this is the week.
I mean, yeah, I don't think we're going to see much of Kyle Busch this weekend. I mean, impressive stats. That's an impressive stat there, like you mentioned. But I mean, with the year that he's had, I honestly just don't see it. I just don't see him breaking that 2+ year winning streak or winless streak.
All right. Well, are there any thoughts you want to get out before we wrap up the show?
I mean, overall, just looking forward to this weekend. I mean, it's going to be a great race to watch at Gateway, and football's back, and Who Day.
Who Day. Have you had that Chase jersey?
Oh, yeah. I've had this for about a year or so.
Oh, okay. All right. I never seen you. I don't think I remember you breaking it out. I got a Chase jersey too, so I figured I would have noticed that, but it shows you how observant I can be sometimes. But anywho, go ahead and wrap up the show then. Thank you all for listening. Be sure to hit that subscribe button if you guys enjoy. Comment down below you guys' thoughts on what we said today. I'm sure there might be a comment or two about my little crybaby hissy fit over Alex Bowman, but it's just frustrating. I would love to see him lose on his own terms for once and not Hendricks. Yeah, just let me know what y'all think about all of that. And check us out on Twitter. Myself, LFC__99, Ben at B Miller PXP, or Ben. Is it Ben or Ben?
It's yeah, you can find me on Twitter on or at Ben Miller PXP.
Ben Miller PXP.
Yeah.
Check out the CX Podcast Network on Twitter. We're still active on there. And check out the Restricted Area Podcast if you guys are curious about WNBA, NBA action. We're going through our top five position list right now if you're curious about that. And yeah, I think that's all we got. Be sure to check us out if you want to listen. Apple Music, Spotify, and Amazon. And we'll see you all in the next one. Peace.